According to our GitHub issue, so first of all, thanks to all who joined already here. This is our call number 49, and topics, very timely topics we have are all events pretty much. Usually we go over the newsletter that also went out today, bitcoindesign.substack.com. That talks about everything that happened in the last few weeks in the Bitcoin design community. And our current topics for today are accessibility and the accessibility day, which is tomorrow, then BTC Prague, which is coming up in 3 weeks, and then just kind of Bitcoin Miami, because that's happening tomorrow, and I think some people are already traveling. Like Steven said, he could not join because there's some pre-events and travel happening. So that was kind of the list for today. Do you have anything else that you think we should talk about?
Sorry, I was just tweeting the space, but no, nothing else comes to mind.
Okay, so let's start with the accessibility. I don't even know how I came across this. I was aware that there's some type of global accessibility awareness day for, I think, last year or 2 years ago, and I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool to do something there. But I think even last year around this time, as in Bitcoin design, we hadn't even really looked into this topic very much. And then Mo, you and I, we spent some time researching it, and we created the accessibility page in the Bitcoin design guide and did lots of testing and realized that in Bitcoin, specifically Bitcoin wallets that we looked at, we have some fundamental work to do there. And then, I don't know, somehow this year, this event came on my radar, and I proposed that we do something for it. And if you go to accessibility.day, that's the primary starting point. Not sure who organizes this really. But when I looked at it at the time, there's an events page where you can, basically any organization, company, anyone around the world is invited to do something for accessibility, right? To raise awareness, to talk about it, learn about it, fix their products, whatever it may be. And when I signed up Bitcoin design community for an event there, this was the 5th event, and now there are 204. So it seems like that really gathered steam in the last few weeks. And so you can see, I'll just name a few of the events that are happening. There are a lot of them virtual. So if you're interested in additional sessions around accessibility, you could probably have a huge amount of events that you can join tomorrow. Here's one, accessibility with R programming. That is a British one. Microsoft is doing a few things, some German events, accessibility awareness and empathy workshop, accessibility matters, accessibility open mic night. How can we make our industry more inclusive and accessible? It's also a German thing. Making maps more inclusive. I saw one that seemed interesting, which seemed all about sound design, sound and accessibility. So it really ranges. There's a accessibility of GitHub review their READMEs, how you can make your README more accessible in GitHub. Interesting stuff. And a lot of these are available for anyone. So if you have anything you'd like to know, I think that's a good thing to chime in. Or to participate in. And so for our own event, what we came up with is we start the day at 7 UTC with a kickoff session, like a 1-hour session where we just give an introduction to accessibility in Bitcoin and get really hands-on with testing, how to set up your phone or device, how to do it, do some sample testing and talk about some common issues. And then the day is really open for anyone to do whatever they want to. I mean, ideally, it's all voluntary. Ideally, some people choose to discuss the topic, get together, make some fixes, come up with some design solution, research a bit more. It's really just open for anyone, and I do hope that get a few people to chime in. We contacted a whole bunch of wallet projects. So, for example, Zeus, which is open source. Evan from Zeus, he said he'll give a 1 million Satoshi uh, bounty for anyone who fixes accessibility issues on Zeus. And I think, Mo, you have an open issue on that repository that points out some issues if anyone wants to get started with that. Then the Moon team said that they will focus on accessibility. I think that's more of an internal thing that day. Wallet of Satoshi said they will join the kickoff call tomorrow and will also try to raise awareness. And let me see. Spoke with a bunch of people. Those are all the ones that come into my head right now. Mo, did I miss anyone? Did I miss anything?
No, I was looking at the events page as well that of the Global Accessibility Day, but I think you reached out to quite a few wallet teams. I also reached out to Breeze. I haven't quite heard anything back yet, and I've shared our event in LDK and BDK just with the hope that people jump on and join. I'm curious about learning more because there's a whole bunch of events going on. There's even this one, the Developer's Guide to Getting Started with accessibility testing. That's virtual, but that's US time. It's from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Oh, that converted it to my time, CEST. So there's a whole lot of workshops tomorrow that we can also learn from. So it will be nice to bring those forward to people's radars during the day tomorrow. So yeah, I'm interested in learning more about testing. I feel like we're literally at the tip of the iceberg in terms of understanding this whole accessibility thing, but we're definitely ahead of anything else that's being done because, well, not much is being done. So yeah.
Oh, I remember BTC Pay might also put some time in fixing a few things. So we had some conversations there with Pav, who organizes things over there, created a video, found some issues. So they might do something as well. Not totally sure yet what they decided to do, but hopefully they do. And then for anyone who does participate in that call or does something about accessibility tomorrow, and we're not on Noster here, I know we're not, but we created a Bitcoin design Noster badge. It's like it shows a honey badger, kind of like the one in the image at the top, and it's like a nice round Noster badge. So anyone just DM us if you do something with accessibility, DM us on Noster, and we'll award you the badge. Then you have to go to badges.page and accept it. It's not going to automatically show up on your Noster profile. You have to accept it first. But yeah, that's just an extra little fun thing to do. I was wondering, I was thinking, so I've done some accessibility work on Blue Wallet. I'm not a React Native developer. I could not actually build their project. It just didn't work for me, but I was still able to add a whole bunch of labels to buttons that otherwise were unlabeled and people who can't see can't make sense of them, and still managed to sneak some improvements in. I was going to see tomorrow after the kickoff call if I can either look at Blue Wallet again or pick up some technical issues on some other project and just try to fix or improve something, even if it's just adding a few more labels or something else. Yeah, I don't know what. Let's ask the audience here. We're a small group for now. Do you do anything with accessibility? Are you looking to participate? Do you have any questions? Anything you want to work on? Or Daniel or Mo, if you have thoughts on the topic.
I can speak for myself. I'm currently on the website of Accessibility Day, so I guess I'd like to attend some workshops during the day tomorrow to learn more about these workshops. Seem to be an hour long, most of them. So maybe just look for one to attend to learn. I want more hands-on experience with learning how to do this. Oh, here we are, improve Bitcoin accessibility. Yeah, here we are. So yeah, want to do that, and then we have the accessibility hit list of also a bunch of wallets that haven't been tested yet. So maybe test out some new wallets or file more issues on the ones that haven't been filed yet. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Daniel, have you considered something for Accessibility Day? Yeah, we're on page 6 of that events list on the accessibility page. The I think this accessibility stuff can be both very foreign and very intimidating. If you don't know what the types of issues are that people have, then you don't. It's like trying to grab fog. You don't really know where to start or what to do. You just don't know what that experience is like. And then if you think of accessibility, you can think of so many different things. Someone can't see, hear, speak, can't move their fingers, is in a wheelchair, can't, or there are, I don't know what's that called, cognitive disabilities or so. Like in Germany here, if you go to a government website, there's always a toggle for, it's called einfache Sprache or simple language, where they actually just use fewer, like a smaller dictionary to explain the same thing. And then I think that also makes it kind of uh, bit difficult to figure out. It's like you try to figure out what all design is. It's like a huge topic potentially that you can get into. But to avoid that, I've just been trying to focus on the absolute basic stuff for myself. And that is just if someone can't see and they use a keyboard or they can't see what's on their phone, they just need to swipe left and right, like use a screen reader. If you can just get that done and that working, I think that's already a really good spot. Um, but then another level beyond that might be supporting all of the features that operating systems support. So operating systems have gotten really, really advanced with this stuff. I set up an Android tablet last week, I think, and on the very first screen, you haven't done anything. You just get the brand new device. You started on the very first screen at the bottom are accessibility options. So that means that someone who wants to customize their experience can do that from the beginning. So if they want to use some external device that's plugged in to control the tablet, if they want bigger screen, they want to invert colors or change color themes, they want more contrast. All of this stuff is basically there from the beginning. So their OS experience, their whole digital experience will be very different from someone who doesn't touch these things. And I think that makes it a little bit easier for application developers um, because they there's just less to do, right? Um, so I think as application developers, you just need to ensure that maybe you support some of those things, some of these things that the operating system provides. You don't necessarily have to reinvent all of this stuff. And that's something that we've seen in Bitcoin design when the topic of accessibility came out. Like someone asked, well, how about when we start or your application for the first time, we give people these options? But no, you don't actually have to. Like the operating systems provide so much for you already. You just kind of have to make sure that your application supports this stuff, these settings. So the way you do that is you just play around. You just go on your phone, go on your computer, you enable some of these settings, you just play around, and then you see what works and what doesn't work. And that can really just be a matter of sitting on the sofa for 20 minutes and just clicking around on things. But enough rambling for now. Mo, what do you think?
No, but yeah, you mentioned some really good points, Christoph, and also worth mentioning is that if anyone on the call in the community is in the community as well, the Bitcoin design community Discord, our accessibility channel is a nice one to join as well. Well, not join. I mean, you automatically are in the channel. I have to get used to that because because of Slack. But yeah, just over the next few months, we have a Summer of Bitcoin student who's going to be working in public and building a Lightning wallet for visually disabled people, blind people. He's already thinking of how we can use Braille and do some sort of Braille action, have the phone vibrate, that kind of thing. So he's got some ideas that he's going to play around with. I've suggested to him to try to get on some calls with some blind users so that he can actually find out what they need. So I'm really curious how that one pans out. So that's pretty much it from the accessibility one for me, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Getting in contact with someone who has these needs is so essential. And
Mm-hmm.
I found that actually really, really hard
Mm-hmm.
in like the 3 years or so that I've been around in the Bitcoin space. I asked a bunch of times, anyone have these needs? Anyone want to share the experience? Like, what's not working for you? Just tell me what's broken. What do you want? Like, what do you need to do? Right? Because then you can just kind of cut through all the assumptions and the guessing, and you can just very practically solve people's problems. But it is, I have not had any luck with it, which is kind of weird. There's one person on Twitter that I've had some DM exchanges, and that
Mm-hmm.
was very enlightening. So I DM'd with that person, and they're blind. And so the way it worked is that it was through some other DM Twitter thread we kind of got in contact. And so uh, I told that person, hey, we did some accessibility research and we found various different issues. And he asked, oh, that's interesting. What did you find? And then I gave him a list of different things in some specific wallets. He was like, oh, I did not even know these features existed. And I was like, come on. But that's exactly the problem. That's what accessible means. Like someone who can't see or hear or whatever, for them, that stuff simply doesn't exist. Like for them, there is no QR code on the receive screen. It just does not exist. It's not accessible. Uh, and if there's a button that has no label, that functionality simply doesn't exist because they cannot know what this thing on the screen does. Um, and that was kind of disheartening. So I was happy that he shared some feedback there, but it was also a bit disheartening because you realize how big of a barrier it is, and how big a barrier something is that can be very easily fixed. It's just They're just very simple fixes to a lot of this stuff. Um, so I don't know. Maybe tomorrow we can make a little bit of a difference and help help make things a little bit better. I think it'd be awesome, and I think Bitcoin certainly deserves that, and we can do better than the traditional financial system in that regard. We should.
It's quite an eye opener when you actually speak to someone who cannot use a Bitcoin wallet. It's just such an eye opener, right? It just, yeah, it's quite an eye opener that they literally cannot use their wallet as the rest of us do. So yeah, it's definitely an underserved market that needs to be addressed more. So hopefully we can get something going. And also once the Summer of Bitcoin student is finished with his research and project, then hopefully we can learn from him in terms of what's possible and what's not possible.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes someone to champion this stuff, someone who just waves the flag constantly and just makes things happen and rallies people continuously. Would be awesome to have that. But something that I found also interesting is so Apple released a bunch or introduced a bunch of new accessibility features. They announced it yesterday, also for the Accessibility Day, and I think it's just kind of crazy how sophisticated this stuff got. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes we think of accessibility like you have to have black on white text, and everything has to be really ugly, but that's not really it, right? That's just a very reduced view of this whole thing. So some stuff they introduced. Like one thing that I thought was cool. So there are some diseases like ALS, just amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, where someone just loses their ability to speak. So what you can do then in iOS 17 is you just record 15 minutes of text, and then it creates an AI voice for you, and then you can just continue conversing with your voice. You just type text, and then it reads it out to you in your voice. I mean, the language stuff is we've seen that with all these AI stuff in on Twitter and whatnot. Like you can impersonate people and you can pretend like someone's taken hostage and stuff. You can use it for bad stuff, but you can also use this for really, really useful purposes, like in accessibility. Um, Another interesting thing that Apple's going to put out for iPhone is some type of ultra minimal version of their core applications. So let's say you don't really have the fine-grained motor skills anymore. You get just nice, big, chunky buttons or so. Some type of super minimalist application style. It's really interesting.
I
Yeah,
think one
just
of the,
real.
oh, sorry,
Sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. I'm just looking at this page here right now. I'm just kind of impressed with how thoughtful some of this stuff is. I mean, some of the Apple accessibility stuff is more thoughtful than provocative a little bit than the whole applications or core features of complete products by other companies. You know.
There's going to be a UX spotlight tomorrow as well by Salesforce. It's on the events page here. Is how Salesforce used accessibility research to drive change with the redesign of Salesforce.com. So that seems like it's going to be a bit of a case study walkthrough, how the team applied accessibility research when redesigning their website, successes and challenges, best practices, and questions. But that one's from 8 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. CST. Is also tomorrow as well. That's going to be an interesting one, I think. I love watching case studies and like mistakes people made and stuff. So yeah, that one should be interesting as well.
Yeah. Should we switch over to BTC Prague? Maybe Michael wants to get on the stage here as well as one of the co-organizers. I just invited him. It's okay. You don't have to. You don't want to, or you're preoccupied otherwise. There we go.
Here we go.
How's it
Now
going,
it
Michael?
works. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I don't know what to say. BTC Prague is going to be awesome, better than Miami.
That's exactly, especially the hack day and the design space there.
Exactly.
So let's start from the top, though. I think you're the one who really initiated a lot related to BTC Prague, right?
Yeah, so I kind of stumbled. I stumbled upon it because I joined, or I was at a conference, a local Czech and Slovak conference in May that is organized by the same um, two brothers who organized the BTC Prague conference, and they have like it was like the third year or the fourth year even of a local Czech conference, and there was nothing related to design or UX. But overall, the it was really nice. It was a great location in an industrial, formerly industrial plant in Ostrava in the kind of eastern part of the country. And they had some workshops, but they were so full that nobody could basically join there. And I basically just got in touch at the end of last year, asking whether for the next installment of this local conference, if they would want to have some sessions on design and on UX. And Matthias, one of the brothers, came back and said, yeah, that would be definitely a good idea, but we're focusing right now on BTC Prague, which is going to be international and much bigger, so we would actually need help there. And that's kind of how I got this thing kicked off, basically, because then I got in touch with Stick, the co-founder of Trezor, who is organizing the DevHack Day at BTC Prague, and so he kind of filled me in on what his ideas were for these different tracks that they have, and I think he was kind of glad that there was one track that he wouldn't have to organize personally. So and that was, I think, in January, end of January, something like that. So that was how that came to be. And now um, Mo and Christoph have the unfortunate honor to to work with me and basically do much more than I can at this point. But yeah, that was kind of the origin story of this DevHack Day and the design space there. So but it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, thank you for initiating all of that stuff. I actually had no idea how big BTC Prague was. On the website. It says there will be 10,000 people, like quite flooding the whole country. And I think for the DevHack Day there will be about 500, and that's in a hotel location. And then one day, and then 3 days after, I think that's in the big expo space outside of Prague, northeast, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure how they calculate the 10,000 number. If that's 10,000 per day or 10,000 in total for all of the days. That would be interesting to see. But um, it's definitely one of the bigger things. There's currently just this weekend there will be a wine maker wine expo there. So I might check it out if I don't have to go to the countryside with my family.
That sounds good. So the let's say so Bitcoin design has as a community has never really represented it at a conference really. We had kind of a online designathon, hackathon for designers last October. A few people met up at Bitcoin Amsterdam. Some individual people represented or just kind of showed up at different conferences. But this time we're actually involved with on a bigger scale. So for the Hack Day, which is in this hotel, that's where there are four main tracks: on chain, base layer, second layer, sovereignty, and privacy, and then one called fun and creativity. And then we have this separate room, which is just going to be the design room that that basically Michael, Mo, and I here are organizing, where we're just going to have where everyone else is going to have like nice hotel chairs and like work tables and stuff. We're just going to have sofas. We'll have low lighting. We're printing our own pillows. We're doing bunch of design related talks. It'll be pretty informal. We designed our own card game that we can play there. We'll touch on topics around design process, design research. What else? What other topics do we have? An AI art talk in the evening. We'll try to organize a design duel where designers kind of duke out within like 15, 30-minute sessions or so, and then we'll see who the best designer is. So just all really design focused and probably an otherwise very developer focused day. But so it should be fun. We're still organizing and planning a bunch of different things, but it's coming together. Or Mo and Michael, how would you summarize that? This our status.
I think we're in for a soft landing.
Yeah,
No, it's yeah, it was kind of it's a bit hard to actually know what to expect, and I think we iterated a few times and then basically scaled back many of the ideas that we had because we don't know or didn't know and don't know what how many people will actually be interested, how many people will be there, what yeah. So it's going to be an experiment.
yeah. I think you definitely learn how organization works for these conferences, which things get put together very early, and which things are happen, very shortly before the event. Like yeah, just like all the details around who's can make it to which talks and what type of furniture we can get for the space, and some other stuff was already pretty clear a month ago or so. It's definitely a learning experience about how conferences get organized and how you can be part of that.
Christoph, you can say it again that it's a learning experience. I could never have imagined that it could take that much of time and energy finalizing pillow designs. I say this with a laugh as well because my goodness, it's been such a learning experience. There's been all these little puzzle pieces that we've been fitting together, but I definitely agree with Michael is we're in for a soft landing because we've pretty much got most of the stuff around it figured out. So it's going to be fine, I think. Yeah, it's going to be fine.
Especially if we have pillows, it will be a soft landing in any case.
Exactly. And all the better if they have nice designs on them. It just makes the landing even better.
Yeah, so the story with the pillows is that so we're so like I said, the space that we have by default comes with just kind of hotel tables that were, I don't know, kind of workshop conference room tables that are fine, right? But we wanted to have those sofas, so we were speaking with a hotel to get these sofas out of their storage and get them in the space. And the sofas are kind of black and white and some armchairs and whatnot. And we were like, we need some more color in here. So we came up with the idea of these different pillows. And of course, there'll be Bitcoin themed pillows. So we used a bunch of visual resources from this card game we came up with and some other things. So there'll be some Bitcoin design community pillows, and there will be some lightning pillows and a Noster ostrich AI generated pillow, and just good design pillow, happy users pillow, just different things that we can just have fun with and place around this space. And I don't know. I think it's gonna be a fun time.
Absolutely. And what was interesting yesterday, I was yesterday in a very nice location that could serve as a side event slash chill out evening space. It's a former army barracks with inside they have beach volleyball courts and do cinema video screenings and stuff like that. And for some reason in the entire area, no payment terminals in the restaurants and bars were working. But the one that I was in was accepting Lightning, so I was able to pay for beer with Lightning when everybody else had to go to an ATM and get some cash out of an ATM. So that's just a fun little Prague story.
And bringing it back to accessibility is a session that I'm still curious about hosting is to give people get blindfold people who want to do a test session, and then they get a phone with a wallet, Lightning wallet that has 10,000 sats. If blindfolded, they manage to send this to their own wallet, they can keep it. Just to put people in that experience of what that is like, and see uh, if they can figure it out, right? So the I mean I think that's kind of been our approach to this hack day, is that it's not meant to be, the expo is more formal presentations. You have people on the stage, you have people sitting in chairs, but a hack day is much more about um, technical exploration, creative exploration, trying to do things a little bit differently, being really hands-on, and also bringing people together with all the different backgrounds: developers, designers, copywriters, project managers, just mashing it all up a bit. And I think breaking the mold with formats can help with that quite a bit. And then, so we have the hack day, and then the next 3 days, I think, is the expo. Day one, I think, is a industry expo or industry day, and then there are 2 days of, I guess, open expo, if I have that correct. And that's when you get the big stages and the big speakers, and you have this gigantic expo space where there are, I don't know, 100 or so exhibitors. And Bitcoin Design got sponsored a booth there. Thank you very much to Spiral for sponsoring that. So amongst all these like mining companies and exchanges and all of this stuff, we're just going to have this open source design community booth. And we also came up with this huge graphic for the background. We'll have a TV there with the presentation running to show different Bitcoin design community projects and things people are working on, and kind of the values and what's going on in the community. And then we'll just hang out and see what type of people show up, and have some good conversations there. I hope that's going to be it's going to be really interesting to see who shows up, and what questions people will have, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And there are also a couple of events in the evening or in the evenings. I have to admit I didn't really look at all of them yet, but that's going to be interesting as well.
Oh, that's a good point you mentioned, because I remember Christoph mentioned an idea of that's another one to organize, is a kind of a bit of a get together or drinks or dinner for anyone who wants to hang out. I remember he messaged about that. So yeah, that's also another one that should we can just organize quite fluidly. Just reach out to some people and see who's attending, and see who'd like to join.
Yeah, I think some of that might also be a bit dynamic. I mean, it'd be nice if we had said, let's say, every morning we meet at this place for breakfast at this time, or Friday evening, all the designers go to dinner over here. So if we could figure something like that out, but I think that like there are some things that we have to organize pretty early because we need to order things and have them shipped, and something like that can we still have 3 weeks, I guess, to sort that out.
Yeah, there
You-
are, I think, a couple of venues that for an event like that that could be cool, but I think you have to definitely have to reserve kind of yeah, enough space. I mean, if there are like 10, 15 people coming, it's not going to be easy to um, make a reservation like the same day or just show up. It's definitely so the way it works these days in Prague is if you're more than 3 people, you basically need a reservation for many venues.
and I assume the expo in that expo area, it's not in downtown Prague, right? It's a bit further out, so there's probably only
Yeah,
a limited amount of places you can just walk to.
yeah, that's one other thing. But I think from the venue, for instance, to get to Paralelní Polis, it's with the metro, it's like 10 minutes. So these kinds of locations are pretty close. So you can get to the center pretty quickly.
Nice. Yeah, in at Bitcoin Amsterdam, there was I don't know what it is, a company podcast, something called Connect the World. Organized, I'll just call them organization because I'm not sure exactly how they're organized. But they organized a barbecue pretty close. So there might be some events that you can just go to. I think it'll be, if there are really 10,000 people at this expo, it might be a little bit more difficult to find something. But yeah, we'll see. But I mean, I pulled up the program just now for BTC Prague. We have General Kenobi from the European Bitcoiners presenting, Connor from Spiral, Bitcoin Islands talk, Free Cities, Privacy and Anonymity, something about regulations, Path presenting on Stratum V2, mining innovations, attack vectors, open source treasury management. There you go. That's going to be some interesting stuff. Yeah. Cool. Anything else? I'm excited for BTC Prague. We still have a bunch of stuff to prepare. The slideshow presentation for the booth, talks, my talk. I'll do a talk about the new Bitcoin Core GUI, which you can find at bitcoincore.app. You can just run a node on your Android phone or desktop. We'll talk about the design process there for a little bit. Mo and Michael, you also have talks lined up, right? Do you want to maybe show those a little bit? That's not for the expo. That's for the hack day, by the way.
Ladies first.
Oh, you're so kind. Um, on our call, I actually signed up for an accessibility workshop already, just making sure I get that done. But yeah, we're going to be. I've gotten, we've been building the UX research toolkit in public and trying to build it as collaboratively as possible. And we're going to have Jakub there from Get Albi. We're going to have Jan there, also from Swan, and I'm also going to show Jan's presentation because he's going to be presenting on jobs to be done, which they use a lot at Swan Bitcoin. So looking forward to learning more about that. And I asked Jakob if he could, tag team with me in presenting about the UX research toolkit and how we've been building it, mistakes we've made, and yeah, where we see it in the future. So yeah, that's pretty much our presentation.
Yeah, and I'm basically doing a little self-help group. Just kidding. Um, I'm gonna tackle the kind of the I call it intergenerational custody topic because it's a topic that I've been dealing with quite a lot in the last year with my family. How to kind of take the friction, or what are the opportunities to take friction out of inheritance setups or family setups, or collaborative custody. That's kind of my angle at this.
A very good one, and an angle that I think we need to have a lot more covered in the Bitcoin Design Guide, which is an upcoming mini project that we're just kind of discussing right now, how we could add all this stuff.
Yeah, it's something that doesn't touch just Bitcoin things or Bitcoin techniques, protocols, technology, because it's social in nature. It changes a lot, and it has to be fluid and flexible. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, splitting keys all over the place seems to be the thing. So, I mean, it feels like a little bit ago, it was basically, well, you have your hardware multi-sig if you're like a main consumer, like single sig, an hardware wallet, and you have Lightning or so, and you're kind of good. But now the idea of Fediment is coming up, where you have these trusted guardians, and you kind of have this federation that manages. There's a lot of discussion happening there. Ledger just announced a thing where they split up your key and then distribute it across different people. The BitKey model is a multi-sig thing where you have two keys, one your phone, one your hardware wallet, and one an assisted one. So then you have some stuff coming out like the Frost multi-sig scheme. So it feels like, I don't know, multi-sig and this how to distribute and manage multiple keys in different ways is just a really big topic, and it feels like it's gathering more steam. It'll be interesting to dive into that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna solve all of these problems at my talk, so you have to come.
Sweet. The
So
talk.
you're really funny, Michael. You put in a lot of effort. You have to come.
I fixed it. I fixed it in 20 minutes.
Yeah, but that's all it needs sometimes. Just like I saw a tweet recently that whatever smart, clever thought you just had about Bitcoin, that you think is just amazing and deep and innovative. Somebody already discussed that on Bitcoin Talk Forum 12 years ago. So it's just that every generation, every group, every profession, everyone that comes into this space kind of has to relearn things sometimes and discover them for their own.
Yeah, so that's the phase that I'm in.
Yeah, same, but we all have that with different things all the time, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I need to, at this point, I'm kind of feeling like I'm at in university again, where I have to start, researching first and then write a paper and kind of gather all of these different sources, kind of consume all the information and kind of be like a sponge and soak it all up before I can come up with something. But I'm gonna fix it in a month, so I'm on the clock.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I mean that's part of the design guide work is that one person or a small group does that work, comes up with some good solutions and then puts it out there so other people don't can take the shortcut and have a foundation to base things from. And I feel like it's made a difference. Sometimes a little bit hard to tell, but I do think the guide has provided shortcuts and foundations for a lot of different people.
Definitely, it was the first, basically the first source that I was looking at.
Awesome. So I think the other thing we had on our list was Bitcoin Miami. I actually don't have any good conversation points there. I just know it's going on. Usually every year it's a big deal. All of these companies they announce stuff. I listened to a talk, a Fediment podcast earlier this week, and it sounded like they're also going to have some type of announcement. I don't know, maybe a beta app or something like that. Not quite sure, but I'm curious because it does seem like a lot of releases are planned around Bitcoin Miami. So I'm interesting to see what the next few days will bring.
The fact that it's Bitcoin Miami also makes me remember that it was probably almost exactly 2 years ago that we first launched the Bitcoin Design Guide, right? So it's almost anniversary.
That is true. We did launch it right around the Bitcoin Miami time. Yeah.
Yeah. So happy anniversary, Bitcoin Design Guide. 2 years.
Let me see if I can find this. There should be a Medium
It was probably we were probably a bit
announcing.
late to celebrate, to be honest. I think it was first week of May, possibly.
Let's see, Bitcoin Miami. Yeah, you are correct. Good memory there. So Bitcoin Miami 2021 was June 4 to 5, and we posted our Medium announcement post on June 2nd.
Oh, so we're a bit early then.
It's
So
it's
we're not yet at 2 years.
yeah.
It's good. We can
So
prepare.
it's a Medium. Yeah, it's a Medium post called announcing the Bitcoin Design Guide.
Excellent.
If you're interested. Yeah, we should make a deal out of that.
Yeah, it's been a ride, and we've upgraded it a lot as well since, with Lightning and stuff, and new reference designs. I'm actually very excited because technically it's soon going to be quite straightforward, or at least possible, to build some of our nice reference designs that use easy onboarding and the ability to receive on Lightning straight away, etc., thanks to things like the LDK node package and stuff. So I'm very excited. I'm trying to build those reference designs, and it's been a struggle until now, but it's very close to being possible.
What are some of those missing bits or the bits that are just falling in place right now for you?
Firstly, it's the fact that the BDK, the Bitcoin Bitcoin Development Kit, made it a lot easier to build things with on-chain wallets. LDK, the Lightning Development Kit, has then separately worked on the Lightning side, and LDK Node is kind of a slightly higher level abstraction using both of those development kits, which a mobile developer or anyone really, but there will be versions for Swift and Kotlin for Android, which makes it really easy, or much easier than before, to actually have a mobile wallet that can handle both on-chain and Lightning. But the last missing piece has been the fact that even though you're running a node and have a wallet, you need to pay to open a channel to receive on Lightning, which is a huge issue for new users or beginners. It's a really that's a high bar and a lot of friction to be able to become someone that actually holds Bitcoin on Lightning. But another piece is also coming about, which is several different Lightning service providers that offer channels where you basically pay a little bit of the income. The fee to open the channel is paid when the first payment is to be received. So they're called just-in-time channels. So that's kind of the last piece that makes it possible to get to the experience that we've designed in the reference design for the daily spending wallet, for example, where a user can just install a self-custodial wallet on their mobile device and immediately be ready to receive, which is amazing. So that's really good news.
Yeah, it's like some of the stuff is so interesting because when you design it, you can just design it in the best way possible, the way that you want it to be. But then the reality is sometimes not just there yet. And I think that's something we had to figure out in the design guide quite a bit is how forward looking are we, and how much do we base it on the technical reality of that moment.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a tricky
and
challenge
I'm
there.
sure the developers have been aware of these same issues as well. But like I do think it helps, or certainly doesn't hurt, to have people trying to design the right experiment, saying, "Hey guys, how do we do this?" Or this should be possible. How can I do that? Or why is it not possible yet? Or when will it be? And bit by bit and problem by problem, these things seems to be getting solved. I'm sure there are still some remaining ones we haven't found, but yeah, it's great to see this progress.
Yeah, I think there are quite a few. So here in Munich, there's a Bitcoin mall pop-up space right now where they have for 2 weeks. It's mall space is taken over with Bitcoin education workshop, or a stage where they have workshops, record podcasts, a whole swag shop with surprising amount of goods, as well as a cafe. And so I went there with someone with Tancred, also a Lightning developer, and we tried to pay for our coffee there. And well, first we went around the corner. We went to a kebab place that also accepts Lightning. And Tancred, he was trying to pay with Moon, and then was right the time where the fees were so high. So it was like, oh, 12 euros to pay for the kebab, which made no sense. And then we tried to pay for our coffee. And everyone else we saw around us was using Wallet of Satoshi, and we were like, yeah, it's custodial, we don't want to use that. So we went to Phoenix, and well, we realized Blue, well, we can't really do that right now. They just got rid of their Lightning. So we tried to use Phoenix, and I used my Zeus, which runs through my Umbrel at home, and through Tor. So the connection was just really, really slow. And man, it was a lot of back and forth to pay for our coffees, particularly also because you had to pay coffee by scanning a QR code that was LNURL.
Oh, yes.
So not all wallets support that. So we kind of had to send each other some Lightning back and forth to different wallets to make it work. And particularly Zeus and my Umbrel worked great. It was just really, really slow. So when you actually try to pay for some of this stuff in real environments, you kind of notice the friction points pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah,
and then,
sure.
Like you said, these will be removed, and then no one will notice anymore.
Yeah, I can already think of a few more that I'd forgotten. Things like async payments, etc. The fact that you can't yet pay someone that isn't actually on an active node. If they have a mobile phone app which is the node, then the app needs to be open and active, which is a huge issue. Yeah, and then addresses and QR codes and Bolt 12 and stuff is another one, but it's on the horizon. So I'm optimistic.
Yeah, how deep are you into the technical side of that, or how deep do you have to be for the work that you do?
Well, over the last year or so, I've been deeper than I wanted to. But that's partly to do with the lack of maturity or the early days of both BDK and LDK. But now with LDK node, it's becoming much closer to the point which I think we need to be, where someone who's already a reasonably skilled developer, front-end developer, be it mobile or web or something, but let's assume mobile here, someone that can already build an app just by integrating the LDK node package will be able to build a great Bitcoin wallet. So that's, I think, removes a lot of the low level difficult stuff. At least that's the idea, and I think we're getting close. So I have been deeper than I wanted to, but it's becoming now really easy, or much easier than it has been.
Yeah, that's great. It's so interesting so when you look at what's happening with Nostr right now, I saw earlier someone posted a thing called Zap Pool. So Zaps on Nostr are uh, basically a way where you can just instead of liking someone's post, you just zap it, you send them a few sats, and it's just one button and it uses Lightning. 95% of that is custodial at the moment, which is not ideal, but it still works, right? And this zap pool was a thing where every time you zap someone, so I send you 50 sats or 100, which is 0.03 cents or so, and you use that instead of likes, that at every time you do that, it takes a percentage of that and it distributes it to Nostr services that you like. So it might be Snort or Damus or some other service or some relay that you use. And then it just counts those up and distributes that. So that is someone just like one developer just came up with. So on Nostr, there's this Lightning, custodial Lightning with LN URL and Lightning address and all this stuff has come to a point where it's just so dead easy for people to just play with this and just invent new features with super tiny micropayments. And then, I mean, you also have this ordinal craze and BRC20, like a totally other corner that are just doing their own weird thing and moving very quickly and messing up the mempool. And then you have the core stuff of on-chain and Lightning, which is, I mean, that's really the tough development work, or path with Stratum and mining, figuring out offline payments, async payments, opening Lightning channels, channel factories. That's the real hardcore stuff. But on the edges, you have these really playful things that are also possible. So it's just really interesting to observe all these different corners of what's happening. And then people say that like, Bitcoin is boring, but I don't quite get it. Anyways, we're at the hour a little bit. I'm rambling. Should we wrap it up? Do you have anything else you'd like to share with the audience here? Audience, would you like to ask something? Just gonna open it up. Michael, anything you'd like to share? Anything more about your BTC Prague talk that solves all the problems?
No, I think I've said more than I should, and I have to leave something for next year. I haven't I can't solve everything right now, but I will next year. So you have to come next year as well.
Awesome.
I want to add in a final shout out to the Accessibility Day that we're having tomorrow. If you're joining on the call a bit later, we're having a call tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. UTC in the Bitcoin design community, and we'd absolutely love it if you could join us to bring more awareness to accessibility. That's it for
Awesome.
me.
And we had a request here. Balit?
Yeah, Baljit, you got it. Yep. Hey, guys.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, guys. Hi. Just a quick question regarding covenants. The BIP 119. just wanted to know if what do you guys think, or is there like an easier explanation for like a noob? Like, what do you guys think?
I do not think very much, to be honest. It's a topic that I've only very loosely followed, and I really cannot make any any intelligent comment on. Anyone else? Michael, Daniel, Mo, anyone in the audience who's savvy on that one?
Like I said, I'm in the research phase, very much in the learning phase yet.
Yeah, I have nothing to add yet on that. I remember hearing a bit about covenants at the Bitcoin conference in London earlier this year. That was interesting, but yeah, I have no personal views or haven't tried building anything with it yet. That's definitely cutting edge.
Same for me as well. I have absolutely no knowledge on this topic, so I'd best not say anything if I don't know anything.
But you know what this is? This is a great opportunity to go in the Bitcoin Design Discord, go to Bitcoin Design Guide channel, and just ask a question. And there are hundreds of other people in there, and maybe we can have a good conversation there, and then add it to the Bitcoin Design Guide, so we have some good answers. I think that's how the Bitcoin Design Guide and all this stuff evolves, right? Someone asks a question, no one knows it, someone or a group does some research, and we add it in. So thanks for bringing that up. I would actually also like to know, because I've been aware of certain drama around this, and I'm not interested in Twitter drama really, so I stayed away from it a little bit. But it also seems like that's something that might be coming back in a different way. So I'd be curious to know more as well. But okay, should we try to wrap it up here? We already said our last words, so thanks all for joining. Thanks for hopping on the stage here, and hopefully tomorrow, Bitcoin Accessibility Day, like Mo said, if you have a moment in your time of your day, learn something about accessibility, talk about it, tweet something about it, and maybe we can make a small difference. And the people who really rely on this stuff, we can make them happy. We can allow them to use Bitcoin in a better way. So join us there tomorrow. It would be awesome to see you. And that's it for today. So see you soon.
Bye, everybody. Thanks a lot, Christoph.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you next time.